Hello, everyone. I survived the weekend. The meat wasn't just a ploy to, get us all together and murder us all. It was actually safe and fun. Let me know if you can hear me. First thing, I've got lots of people in the chat, so please let me know if you can see and hear me. That would be awesome. No rush, Anyone, anytime. Hello. Can hear you. There you go, Jin. Thank you. Thought the moderators would have been first there, but there you go. Right. Awesome. Right. Good to see you all. We've got loads of people in at the moment. Everyone's saying hi. So we've got Scottish Pepper and Miss Worm in there as the moderators. Elusive Dartmoor, Jin, Paul Thomas, Lady J, Phil One. Phil One just changed his name to Phil One, didn't he? Because there was too many Phils last time. That's quite funny. Cool. Right. Funny. What did you say, Mike? Right. Get questions in now because I haven't got loads of questions. I literally wanted to do this because I just did the prepper meet and stuff. And rather than answering individual questions, I thought I'll come on here. So if anyone's got any questions about it, how it was, how it went, etc., feel free to get them in here, or something completely unrelated, like the questions that we've had prior to this, then get them in. I did not miss the mods. I said you first. Jeez, guys, come on. Open your ears. Didn't miss you at all. You were the first ones. Right, so I went to the Midlands Outdoor and Survival meet. It's not a prepper meet, outdoor and survival. It's friendlier like that, but it was a prepper meet basically. Didn't know what to expect. First time going to one. The only ones I've seen is obviously clips of other people's online. It wasn't that big, not a huge turnout. It was like 25 people or something, not including the couple of people that turned up on the day just as day visitors. So not a huge event, but really, really informative and really good. Considering 6 weeks ago, it was at idea stage. 3 weeks ago, it was checking out the location. And then 3 weeks after that, we're actually there doing it. It was considerably well, it was not like it was a year's worth of advertising, so it's good. Make sure if you do get questions in, guys, you try and highlight them in some way, maybe capitals, something like this. Used to stop chatting away, Miss Worm and Scottish Prepper. Shocking. just carry on, used to, instead of moderating, just bicker between yourselves. That's all right. Right. So first thing, we've got two questions that are completely unrelated to the prep and meet. So I'm going to get them out of the way because they were ones that were posted before I came on live. So let me find them. I'm completely unprepared because I'm on daddy duties alone tonight. So I've been running around like anything, just making it on time. There we go. First one was Steffi Ann, 6844. How likely do you things will deteriorate before the end of well, I'll reword what she's typed. How likely do you think things will be at the end of the year to deteriorate? She's wrote it so much it's fried my brain. How likely is it things are going to deteriorate by the end of the year is what she's asking. Personally, if you'd have asked me a few weeks ago, I'd have said very lightly. But it depends what you mean by deteriorate. The conflicts going on around the world, I feel like it's just saber rattling. And even when, if it wasn't saber rattling, Iran would have responded straight away, not waited this long to do something that Israel had more than enough time now to prepare for, and it will just be a show of force. And there'll be no backlash off that, and that should peter out again. That, in my opinion. But obviously, the doom and glooms are making a massive deal of it, and they've got a World War III countdown going on and live streams constantly monitoring cameras that are completely irrelevant, as you do. So, yeah, I'm I'm optimistic that we'll get to 2025 at this stage. We might be in a super lockdown because of some random monkeypox, but either way, we'll get to 2025, in my opinion. Outdoor Prepper 2025. There you go. He's named how long we should last. How long do you think Harmer will stay in the house for? Candy Harmer. I don't think he's going to last a year. Genuinely. I don't think it's going to be another election, but, well, it could be another election. They could force another election, but I think his own party will force him out. So we'll wait and see on that. He's got a lot more power than you realise and a lot of people in his pocket, so he could be there for the full term. Love political ones. 4x4 fella, something new about prepping you didn't know that you learned at the prepper meet. Something new. Interesting. Okay. I learned about more advanced first aid items. So I've done first aid courses, like through the FA and stuff like that. But obviously that's football injuries. So it's very basic with CPR on top and things like that. But about how to and how not to seal a chest wound and things like that. So the first aid that was being displayed and the items within the first aid pack that were being displayed has made me, I've got quite an expensive first aid kit and I definitely need to add to it. So it's not just a case of get like a couple of Israelis and that's it and you're on your way. There is lots of little things that I took photos of as they were being passed around so I could remember them. So the first aid has really kicked into gear with that one. And of course, I've just put a video on saying my get home bag was a load of tosh. So I learned that as well, but it's not a new thing. Doesn't his hair grow fast? What? Was there anything you thought was utterly useless? To me personally, there was stuff that wasn't relevant or wasn't not relevant's the wrong word. Stuff I already knew. But what's useless to somebody who's a squaddy or an ex-squaddy might be completely useful to somebody else. There was several people that were not only the first time to a prepper meet, going there alone, they were also very new to preppy or very green, as it were. Got lots of nice shiny new kit, but it's never gathered a little ounce of dirt. So there was a lot of people like that really did benefit more from it. Now, the thing with these prepper meets is the lessons, the talks, the demonstrations are all extras. Don't go to a prepper meet for that. That's all extras. What you're going for is to network. We all talk about mags. We all talk about networking. We all talk about things like that. This is the perfect opportunity. That's what you go there for. So nothing utterly useless, but there was stuff that was like, yeah, I already know this, things like that. So, but everything, it's always good to have a refresher, right? Miss Worm says, Iran probably is waiting to see if Trump gets in. Where can I get cheap freeze-dry food in large quantities? Anybody having experience importing from the US? Well, one of the main US brands, ReadyWise, is actually over here now, but it ain't cheap. It's not cheap. If it's just because of a storage thing, like space-wise, I understand, but I'd prefer tinned goods over anything else. Tinned goods and dried pasta meals that you can get yourself, seal up. Don't forget, if you get them pasta meals, the ones I'm on about where it's like serves two, but it actually serves one. It'd be like ham and cheese, or it'd be macaroni and cheese. If you take that and reseal that into a Mylar bag with an oxygen absorber, it'll last a lot longer than it says on the paper packet. So it could be more cost effective to buy the stuff that you need to do that and buy them from a local supermarket. So if anybody else in the chat has a better answer or knows a place, please tag Brash as you answer that. The money pox, I like that one. The convenient virus, I like to call it. Did they show many shelters to use? I mean, everyone's quite open, so you could walk around, and there was everything there from a scout tent from the 70s all the way up to modern tents, like brand new what you get now, and everything in between. So people had their own setups. So it's interesting just to see that kind of thing for shelters that way. There was no real bushcraft shelters because the site, although wrapped around by trees and has a quarry off to the other side, we were literally in a field. So there's no like shelter building. Obviously, within the bug out bags and the get home bags and stuff like that, they did show us different versions of the British poncho and tarp and bivvy, and the Dutch and the what was the other one? It's gone. There's another one that was really good as well. But they showed us stuff like that. So, but it's for everyone to share. That's the whole point of it. It's not like one man's show, like come and see me show you absolutely everything. It's about sharing ideas with each other. Hello, hungry tourist. Yes, Panda Outdoors. Hope you're good, mate. Meat looked like Mr. Good One. It was decent. It was decent, Panda. When you finish that bug out vehicle, Panda's working on what looks like could be an awesome bug out vehicle. Can't wait to see the videos on it. But when you finish that, you need to come to the next one in that. That'll be a great thing. One of the guys who's regular to the channel, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but he comments on a lot, turned up in the truck. There's a little snippet of it on my last video, a little clip of that. So that was cool. We'll hopefully get some more vehicles like that in. There's me and my battery-powered Tonka toy. 4x4 fella. Unfortunately, we're living in a totalitarian, socialist, you're doing this on purpose, authoritarian soya milk state at the moment. It will get worse before it gets better. Please limit the number of syllables you use in your comments. I'm tired. Have you got a wound stapler? I've not, but there's lots of things. Like I say, my Medikit is going to take a kicking. I'm going to split down that bag I got, the Amazon one. It was like 80 quid or whatever it is. That's going to get broken down. I'm getting a military size combat medic pouch, and I'm going to fill that, and I'm going to add the extra I need. So there will be a video on it when I've done it. But yeah, definitely inspired on that front. Why was there no power banks? UK Prepperman had a Blue Yeti running a fridge in his tent. So there you go. You were covered. But that's the beauty of it. It's even if it's not demonstrated like this is this, and I'm going to do a full demonstration on it. Most people, like UK Prepperman, will leave his tent doors fully open so you can see his loadout and his setup, which is really cool. And everyone was very approachable to just go and ask a question and talk to them, no problem. I mean, I arrived at 8:30 at night, and I was trying to whip the tent up before I lost all the light. And I literally got the bedroll in, threw the bag in, zipped it up when I'd finished, and then just took the beers and went and sat with the fire around the fire. Ended up there till like 1 o'clock in the morning. So just talking, that was the best thing about it. Just getting to know other preppers like that. Do they do these meetings anywhere else in the UK? Sambo, I hope so. I am trying to organise one further north. I've got a few people looking at different locations throughout the country, as have the guys that organise this one. They will do that same location again next year. Dates to be confirmed, but definitely looking at different locations. So I've approached 3 different sites now to see if we can get in there. I'm hoping to do the Great Northern Prepper Meet at some point. Was there no, because Brian decided he wasn't showing up. So sorry, Lady J, no free bentos. Are you going to the Bug Out Shop meet in October? No, Panda. I'd have liked to, but by the time I looked at it and went to book and like see if I could book it, it was a case of you either need to sleep in a hammock or a yurt or nothing at all, or get a hotel nearby. And I was like, no, I'd rather just some land and let me set my own tent up. So I was a bit annoyed at that. I don't do well with hammocks. Hammocks don't do well with me. Hello, hello, hello. Everyone's saying hello. Hi, 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 hi. You may save a bit on bulk orders by contacting company's customer service line and asking. Right, that's in reference to the freeze-dried meals from Bosch, I believe. 4x4 fella, I find the Prepper Meets great. I've had many long chats with UK Prepper Man, great guy. It's great for networking, like you say, and hopefully it's created opportunity for me over the next few months. Yeah, definitely. So there you go. Let's have a look. Trying to scroll through here, doing the questions. Blue Yeti, oh, the shame of it. Well, you should have come and you could have argued Blue Yetis to Eco Floors all day long with UK Prepper Man. What's that? A few months ago, I was looking for bulk freeze-dried potato pieces for DIY potato soup. I found one company here in the US, which was a third less per weight than the next lowest company. Yeah, but import duty here would be ridiculous. Anyone gonna go? What? Okay. Let's keep it civil. Question: were there any women there? Yes, there was. Top of my head, there was 3 or 4. But bear in mind there was only 20 odd people there. So yeah, there was a few women there. 2 as a couple, 1 had come on their own, sort of thing. So yeah, it's friendly. Don't worry. It was all safe, Kelly. It was all safe. And yes, they were preppers. They weren't just dragged along by their partners. One of the girls was like really good with the questions on the first aid. So to be fair. I wonder what the ratio is male to female preppers. I am guessing for me, I think it'd be a pretty even split if you generalize the term prepping. Like many female preppers, there'll be loads of them that just have like the pantry and the food supply and the growing the food, the gardening, the green thumb kind of thing, the good lifetime kind of things. The more extreme and let's go and do exercises in the woods is more, probably is a lot more males doing that hobby. So I reckon the ratios of actual preppers will be even, but the people willing to go out there and actually try these things, I think the majority I've seen is male at the moment. But prove me wrong, ladies. The next Prepper Meet, come on down, show us your skills, get involved. What's north? Anything past Luton is north to us southern people. Well, most of them will be northern then, if that's the case. I don't I don't know any. As soon as I get locations and things nailed down, you'll see graphics, banners, and plugs starting to appear. So as soon as I know, you guys will know. Luton, that's practically the polar region. Jesus. Ah, southerners. The things we put up with. Anything north of the M4 is North. Christ. Have a prepper meet here in Scotland. Yeah, we should do a prepper meet in the up right near Inverness in January. That would be that'd be interesting. All the people that plan to bug out there could come along and try out their 20 quid Halfords tent in the Scottish winter and see how well it holds up. I would say come to the islands in January, probably wouldn't get here. The thing is, guys, right? So this is what the annoying thing, and there's a few Americans that come on the channel, so they might be in the room at the moment. I know Tuck was about before. He's from the States, but they will travel 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours to go to a meet like this or a meet similar to that. And we know people and we've seen people that do that. Yet, if something's more than an hour in the way in this country, people are like, it's too far. Oh, I've got to wash my hair that day. It's just excuses. The thing is everyone's a bit nervous the first time. I'm rocking up to a campsite with like 20 odd people. I didn't know if it was going to be 20 odd or 100 odd people. And with no screen or camera in between me to be judged by all of them. And I'll get judged more than somebody who's not on YouTube would get judged. But it wasn't like that. It really wasn't. It was all helpful. Had a few drinks, had a bit of banter. But other than that, it was all just friendly, helpful advice, the whole thing. There you go. Miss Worm puts things more eloquently than I can. So, more women, home-based preppers, more male survivalists. The thing is I was always bugging. That was me. I've had a lot of conversations about this over the weekend, and the more urban you are, and the more likely you are to be a target because you have supplies, you have solar panels, you blah, 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 and all these little factors means at some point you may have to bug out. And when we say bug out, it's not going off living in the country like Rambo in the wilderness, never coming home. It's always got to be an aim to get somewhere. It's always, whether that's to meet up with a group of people, whether it's to create a new home base somewhere, whatever it is, it's not roaming the wild countryside in the UK, but bugging out is a very real possibility. You will not defend yourself against 20 people, even if they're armed with sticks, rocks, and bits of metal. Your crossbow still won't reload that quick. Do you know what? Somebody suggested that while we were there, a winter one, and apparently one of the more popular prepper meets that no longer exists used to do a winter one. However, it's got to be a just pick somewhere and meet up and do it off your own backs kind of thing, because you can't organize that as an event at a place because there's no way you can guarantee the numbers. Speaking as somebody who did Sunday League football, as soon as the weather changes things, as soon as the weather comes out, and as soon as it's raining or snowing, people are like, oh, no, I'll give it a miss. So your numbers are dropping massively. Good luck with that. We won't ask what stuff is, Brian. Nate was brought up a couple of times, but generally not too bad. You get the initial, oh my god, and then when you explain, go through some of his videos, he's got some good knowledge. You've just got to, if you're watching something like that, you've just got to be able to tune out one bit and pick up the bit that's useful to you. So it's all good. Mark, he didn't get as mentioned as much as other people were mentioned. So we'll just leave that there. Have you learnt about solar yet? I know all about the sun. It's going to kill us all. But no. No is the answer. I have way too much to do before. Solar is on the list, but it's very low down now. It was close to the top, but after this weekend, that list has got longer and longer. Here you go. Winter camping, you need good kit, but it's better camping than summer, in my opinion. I've camped in the snow in canvas tents. It was actually an awesome experience, to be fair. I did actually really enjoy it. Only 10 likes, 56 people watching, you guys. Come on, slacking. Honestly. Right. Any more questions, guys, about the meet or anything like that? Because I'm at the end of the chat. I'm usually more chaotic trying to get through that. I have an AEA PCP rifle that could be tuned up to near 190 FPE in the event of a systematic breakdown of law and order. Interesting. But even it doesn't matter. You can have firearms in this country, right? You can have a firearms license. Still don't back yourself with firearms against 30, 40 people trying to get through the door. If they don't run away after the first shot or something, you're going to have to find a way to get out the back. It's not worth putting your family at risk for. Stop watching Rambo movies. There you go. Yes, some will travel across multiple states. I'm actually quite far from these meetups, so I can't attend. It's 6 hours just to the state line. Next meetup is 3 states up, 19 hours drive. But people do it, right, Tuck? I mean, if you drove 19 hours in the UK, you wouldn't be in the UK. You could do a lap. So, honestly, just get out there, do it. I've been prepping for the break. I've just purchased a camping wood burner, and I've been prepping for the breakdown of Law and Order. Okay. In what way would you be prepping for the breakdown of Law and Order, Jack? What would you have added to Prepper Meet for next time? Everything. I gave my suggestions to the guys that were running it. I've offered my services to help in any way I can. But more varied demonstrations, because there's preppers that don't want to bug out no matter what, right? They think they're going to Englishman castle and all that. And no matter what you negotiate with, that's the way they are. So more demonstrations that are relevant to different people. Homesteading, solar setup, what you can grow in a window box, all the weird random little things that people know but don't try. Brian's just excuses. That's all I'm hearing. Blah, 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 blah. Wah, 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 wah. Excuses. That's all I hear. They do it. My rust bucket wouldn't make it, or I'd go for sure. Well, that sounds like a prep you need to get on. Fix the rust bucket so it can make that journey. Was there any mention of foraging? There was more than a mention. There was doing. There was, well, not officially. It wasn't like an official thing, but yeah, they talked about bugging out once you're in that bug out location. Obviously, these bug out bags can only carry so much food, so the conversation went on to what you could do and things you could drink, like nettle teas. There was blackberry bushes right there, to be fair, that you could go and pick. That was nice. But showing the media, the little books, the Eat for Free book that Collins do, that identifies different plants. So yeah, there was a lot spoke about that and different ways you could forage and hunt for food. Maybe not as in depth as I'd have liked. I think I'd like to get a few bushcrafty demos going on next time as well. Not too sure. Didn't hear the accent, Brian. Didn't hear the accent, but people were from all over the place. It was Derbyshire where it was, and the people that had come from south of London. So people travel. There is willing people. Yes, I do have a Baofeng radio. I think you don't need a license for certain channels. As far as I'm aware, Phil, you need a license to transmit. Full stop. You can listen all day long, but you need to have done your license to transmit. Somebody in the comments, please correct me if I'm wrong. 3 to 6 months food, equipment. I have a seed bank, tools, solar equipment. I always have in the van. Mobile prepper is the best way for me. Let the crazies settle. Find a farm to help on. It's my plan. Yeah, it's not a bad plan. As long as you can keep a vehicle running, depending on the situation. If you're prepping for all sorts of things, then EMP should always be a consideration. So don't put all your eggs in one basket is the main lesson. Don't center your bug out plan around a single vehicle. If something happens to that directly, or if something happens in general to all vehicles, then you've got to really think about it. No, Phil, I do not. I don't feel I know enough to put a video out there. So go and check out Everyday Prepper. My friend Steve, he has got his license. He does loads of stuff with the radios. He's your man for that, Phil. Everyday Prepper, all one word. Any G-men in brown corduroy from the ministry at the prepper meet? No, there was no suspicious characters. I did keep my eyes open. On the field opposite, there was some sort of university student party going on though, so that was tempting at one point, but no, there was none of that. Fair enough. That's another interesting conversation I had. We'll actually bring that up now, while we've got a bit of time still. So the grey man thing was jumped on by some people there. Like, it's ridiculous, blah, 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 which I thought was a bit harsh. But just discussing it was interesting because there's different points of view on this. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, because there was people there that didn't know, grey man is basically going unnoticed, blending in with the crowd or with the people or with nothing sort of thing. So if you're in head to toe khaki and DPM and MTP camouflage, blah, 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 then you might stand out, especially in an urban environment. So people are like, oh, no, I don't get that stuff. Now, I get the thinking, but by the time you need to be out scavenging, most of the people that would target you in DPM will already be gone, dead, off, fleed, something. You know, you should have enough supplies in your house to get to that point. Now, the reason I have camouflage stuff and military surplus stuff is it's strong, it's durable, it's proven. There's no better testers than 70,000 troops and 30 years of experience when it comes to DPM and stuff. So it's tried, it's tested, it works. Now, no matter how urban and how built on you think the UK is, you are not, nobody is that far away unless you're smack bang in the centre of London. Nobody in normal towns is that far away from countryside. Now, if you want to be grey man from here to the edge of your town and then stick out like a sore thumb while you cross the country, I think that's the wrong way around. People wearing camouflage you see now in peace times. You see people walking down with camo jackets. If you don't believe me, go to any car boot sale at 8 o'clock in the morning. Half the nation is wearing camouflage jackets. You're not going to stick out, but the benefit is you're going to blend in when you get out into the country. So just don't put too much stock into the grey man thing, because there might be 60 days after SHTF, them 10 people that think they look like everyone else with a backpack on, who are all grey men, will be standing out like a sore thumb anyway. Anyway, I like the grey man side of the house. So making your house look unappealing, making your house blend in. That's a good methodology. Panda Outdoors. We have a 12 by 12 army tent. We have a stove jack fitted to it for a log burner. We have for meats that can be used for social space as well as sleeping in. Panda, send me a message. I've got another guy from Liverpool who does outdoor stuff on Instagram. He wants to be on board helping set up this Northern Prepper meet. You need to be on board. Send me a message, dude. Just scanning through, guys. Let's have a look. Yes. Traveling on your own, it's easy to come up with excuses. Better to find a buddy to ease the pain of the travel. Yeah, everyone needs a prepper buddy. If you're talking about the prepper meets, yeah, that's fine. I traveled on my own. It's not that far. There's nowhere in this country that's too far to travel on your own generally, so should be all right. If you're talking about SHTF, never go alone anyway. You have to sleep sometime. For bugging preppers, don't brag to others about your preps, even to your best friends, even if you could trust them with your life. They could mention your location to someone just in a conversation. This is true. But unless you become a complete... if you can hide it well in your house and you can keep it from everyone, fine. But if you're like me and you've got a small house and a lot of stuff, if anybody comes around, they notice something a bit odd. Like, you've got a lot of that. So it's just one of those things sometimes. The caveat to that is always have backup plans, stashes, a storage locker 10 miles away with some stuff in. Whatever you need to do, have backup plans. Have family that, even if the family doesn't prep, just give them 2 big boxes saying, could you just put this in your garage for me for storage? Thank you. They don't need to know what's in there. Open window to legally import presents. 12 FP legal power limit. Yeah. Cool. All right. You can use that. Channel 446. Channel .446 you can use without a license. Interesting. I'll have to speak to Steve about this. But, I mean, in SHTF, don't use the channel that everybody's been using without a license, if that does exist, because, you know, meet me at the won't work because there'll be 20 people waiting for you to take your stuff. You need a license in Scotland, even sub £12. Very true about the EMP. There we go. Viking Mitch is in. Viking Mitch is one of the organisers of the event. He set it up, and like I say, from concept, 6 weeks later, it was happening. So full credit to them guys, Viking Mitch, Roger, Shovel Recce, and UK Prepper Man did a cracking job for that. There you go. Wolfenstein, Army Surplus is the best as far as I'm concerned. There you go. So don't put too much stock in the Grey Man stuff. Just think about quality over price. You can don't get me wrong, if you've got the money, you could spend a fortune and get some really good stuff that's not Army Surplus, right? And if that's your prerogative to do that. But at the end of the day, if you're the everyman, I'd rather spend 30, 40 quid on a really good Bergen that you can then modify yourself and, get it to how you want. And let's be fair, unless it's going to sit there in the corner, nice shiny kit to show off to people, and you're going to actually use it, then why spend all that money when you've got something durable that you can use and you won't mind if it gets a little scuff on it? Right, I'm just scanning through if there's any more questions, guys, before I jump off. Bug out bag or inch? There is no inch. There's no such thing as inch. I'm never coming home. You can't create a bag for that. Viking. Glad I learned something from me. Viking will tell you the same thing. I think he did a video, or Shovel Recce did a video on that. So we'll go more into detail at some point on that. My Army Surplus is a mixture of German and British gear. Yeah, the Dutch gear is really good, often modelled on the British stuff. And they spoke about this at the meet, like that. Example, the poncho and stuff, it's often modelled off the British stuff, but with slight improvements. And I had a little chuckle in my head. They were mid-conversation, so I didn't butt in, but that's not a new thing. Like, because the Dutch, look at a Dutch combat jacket from World War II. Yeah? Then look at an English combat jacket from World War II. Very similar. The Dutch have done it for a very, very long time, but often a lower price tag, which is good. Yeah, Miss Worms posts Vikings channel. Make sure you go over and check him out. Give him a subscribe. I will pre-warn you, though, Viking Mitch, how do I say this nicely? Doesn't mince his words. So go and subscribe, but, expect brutal honesty. There you go. Me and Shovel did a video on the inch bag on Shovel Recce's channel. There you go. Go and check that out on Shovel Recce's channel as well. For some people, inch bags are crazy. Need a forklift to carry the thing. Makes no sense. I mean, I don't think at any point you'd be grabbing a bag anyway. I mean, I've go and check out their video. They'll go into it in a lot more detail. But, I mean, nobody wants to grab a bag from the house and think they're never coming home anyway, right? If you're grabbing a bug out bag, that is to get the fuck out of there, all right? And if you have to get the fuck out of there and you can't get back there, then bad news. You can't go back and pack all your documents, your kitchen sink, and your frigging nan's bed in the back of the bag just because you didn't pack it like an inch bag. So you just deal, adapt, survive. How long do MOD MREs actually last past the best before date? That is a loaded question. Mr. Pendragon, because it depends on what's in them. And it's purely trial and error. I know people that have opened one 5 years older, past its sell-by date, and it's been fine. Then I've known somebody who had a chicken one 12 months past the sell-by, and it smelt funny. But that's your gauge. Use your senses before you eat anything. Sniff. If it smells like bad chicken, don't risk it. But don't believe the Granada TV thing where the guy trying to sell off his MREs said that they put them in the cupboard and leave them for 25 years. That's a bad idea. That's just freeze dried. Focus on the bog out location before an inch. Yeah, well, everything but the kitchen sink it is, isn't it? Thank you, Miss Worm. Miss Worm's our moderator who posts all the channels, who's awesome. Thank you very much. I think that's about it, guys, from me. I answered the pre-loaded questions, and there doesn't seem to be many more. Make sure you go and check these guys out. Like I say, Viking Mitch, Shovel Recce, UK Prepper Man. I don't think Roger's got a channel, unfortunately. I mean, that would be a gold mine if he did. But check out the video I've just put on before this, which is the Get Home bag. And that is done by Roger. And just get to the meats. That's the main thing, guys. No matter what meat it is. Because, I mean, I was one saying I didn't want to go to a certain meat because I didn't like a certain guy. All right? And I'd been adamant about that for a while. And then meeting a lot of people that feel the same way as I do, but are still going to that meet, I was like, okay. But it's not for the person you don't like. It's for everyone else that's there. If there's a group of preppers meeting in a field and you have an opportunity to go and speak to some of them and learn from them, take it. You won't regret it. I promise you. There you go, Miss Worm. That's Shovel Recce's Get Home bag. I've just posted one. Look at you, posting the wrong links. Shocking you, shocking. Right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I've done about as much as I can do on my own. Usually I've got co-hosts and stuff. So thanks for tuning in. Any further questions, you know the score. You can email me. You can get in touch with me on social media. Always happy to answer any questions. As soon as Mitch and the guys have got dates set in stone, as soon as we've got anything set up like that, I will send you the links. I'll get you the graphics. I'll get a video on here and I'll let you know. We'll give you a lot more notice. So the excuses have to be a lot more advanced if you're going to get away with it this time. There's no washing the hair. There's no planning your wedding on that day. There's no excuses. Get down to the next one. Other than that, thanks, guys. Thank you, moderators, Miss Worm, Brian. Appreciate you all, and members, everyone else. See you in the next one.